Media Matters is a new report out on how often Fox News has talked about Benghazi, and this is amazing. It's a 20-month period that they studied, ending in May of 2014. So they didn't even cover the summer where there were hearings or talk of hearings and Benghazi, Benghazi, Benghazi. So just 20 months prior to this May, okay? How many times did they air segments about this topic? 1,098 times. That's amazing, man. 1,100 segments on Benghazi. Okay, so what I immediately saw and thought, what is the average on that? Well, they also calculated that. The average turns out to be 13 Benghazi segments per week. I mean, they're like literally vomiting Benghazi out to the audience. Benghazi! All right, it's going to get, there's one hilarious quote and number within this. Now, there's a lot of interesting ones. I'm going to give you all of them, okay? But I'm saving the hilarious one for that. The network aired 174 Benghazi-related segments in the month leading up to the November 2012 presidential election. Well, of course they did. Of course they did. Okay, right before the election, Benghazi, 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 right? What? Us trying to influence elections? I don't know what you're talking about. We're fair and balanced. We're going to get to fair and balanced in a second as well. All right, so what else did they do? The network aired 281 segments alleging a cover-up by the Obama administration with over 100 references to past Washington scandals like Watergate and Iran-Contra. Now, has there been any proof that there was a cover-up in Benghazi? No. Has anyone shown that in congressional testimony? No, right? But it doesn't matter. The point is you allege cover-up, and then what you do is you do the old Republican trick of putting two things in the same sentence and saying, what? I didn't say they were, right? So that's what the Bush-Cheney people did. 9/11 Iraq, 9/11 Iraq. I didn't say Iraq did 9/11. I just said 9/11 Iraq in the same sentence 100 times, right? So in this case, literally over 100 times they went Benghazi, Watergate, Benghazi, Watergate, Benghazi, Iran-Contra, Benghazi, Iran-Contra. What? We're just fair and balanced over here. I don't know what are you guys getting all upset over? It's a real scandal. Okay, now, they have fair and balanced as their slogan, so I'm sure that they gave Democrats a chance to respond to this nonsense because it's not evidence-based, right? So, okay, well, let's find out how often they asked Republicans and Democrats that were on there. Republican members of Congress were asked about Benghazi in individual interviews 144 times, while only 5 Democrats and Obama administration officials were asked about the attacks. Now, if they thought it was a real scandal, they'd actually ask every single Democrat that ever came up. Right? They'd be like, oh yeah, how do you explain this? But they don't do that. Part of the reason they don't do that is because then Democrats would come out, as President Obama did in the O'Reilly interview, and explain, look, we've been over this all these different times. Here's the evidence, boom, 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 boom. So you have no case whatsoever, right? That's why they don't ask the Democrats that time, this question. That's why you have an imbalance of 144 to 5, okay, from the Fair and Balanced Network. Now here's my favorite stat, the one that I really thought was funny. Fox News aired 244 segments, suggesting the Obama administration did not initially refer to the attacks in Benghazi as terror or a terrorist attack. 244 segments on the use of the word terror. How was it used? By the way, in case you were wondering, he called it an act of terror. Apparently, they couldn't suss that out in 243 segments. It required 244. Now, wait, was it a terror attack or a terrorist attack? Or a terroristic attack? Was it part of the war on terror? What terror, Obama, terror, what? What do you mean? I'm just trying to figure out what happened. What an insane amount of airtime to devote to an issue that is obviously nothing but a political attack here. But we're not done yet. The Media Matters story comes out, and then just to kind of outdo them, we have one of the Fox and Friends clowns, Elizabeth Hasselbeck, jumps in today, unrelated to this other story, but she's like, wait, we're not done yet. I can outdo this. She sent out a tweet. Imagine if everyone that asked for transparency in the NFL demanded that same transparency in our government. #Benghazi. See that? The whole Ray Rice, Adrian Peterson thing? It's not about the NFL. It's about Benghazi. And how do you answer that, President Obama? They always pose those questions, and their audience is like, yeah, what about that? Adrian Peterson, hashtag Benghazi. Can't wait to see how many segments they do connecting the NFL to Benghazi. That's for the next study. There's some chance they're not fair and balanced.